squeeze and pull, and then remove that. Then we'll be able to remove the alternator and put your new one back in theory here. So here in just a moment, we'll see what our next step is going to be. Okay guys, now the next couple things you're going to want to do is you're going to want to come over here, and I've already got my alternator unmounted, but let's see if we can see him down there. Okay, we can't see him down there, but what you're going to want to do is you'll want to take a 10mm combination wrench. That's what I found works best. And then you'll find, or you'll feel, you won't be able to see it, but you will be able to feel a rubber boot, if I can find him, sitting over here somewhere. This guy right here, he'll be sitting on there, and you'll find that with your left hand because you'll be reaching down there, and then you'll kind of pull this away, and that nut will be exposed, and you'll take a 10mm combination wrench, and I'll undo him. Once you've broken them loose, you can just take them off with your fingers. Then you're going to want to come, and again, we're inside the car now speaking, and you're going to want to come on the back side of this thing right here and remove that 13mm bolt. And the best way I found to do that was using a 13mm combination wrench and a long ratchet like this with a 13mm on the end. The combination of using those two to kind of break it loose and then get it off, that's how I was able to get that bolt out. It took me quite a while. It probably took me 20 minutes to get that bolt out, but using a longer ratchet, combination wrench, and a ratcheting combination wrench, I was able to get that 13mm bolt off. Then after that, once you've got your alternator mounting bolts all the way out, and then your alternator, you'll find, will be loose and free, what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to come down in the wheel well, and you're going to find a connection to the alternator with electrical wire here. So we're going to take a look right in here, and we can see this guy right here. If we follow him up, we got a wire, and we've got one of those guys that snaps in and is held in to the alternator, which we can see back here. Okay, so here we go. Alright, now at the end of my finger, that's the little plastic connector. Let's see if I can get him in focus better. There we go. That plastic thing snaps in to a hole into the alternator right there. So what you're going to do is take a pair of dikes or side cutters, you're going to squeeze and pry it off. So you'll come down here and play with your alternator and get it till the alternator is looking like this, and then you'll get that wire off there. And then here momentarily, we're gonna pull up on it and we're gonna try and get that electrical connector disconnected, because it's really difficult to do while the mounting bolts are still connected. So hopefully we'll find an easy way here to disconnect that in just a moment. Okay guys, now I found the easiest way to get this electrical connector removed. It's a squeeze and push, and when it's mounted, it's really difficult to be able to remove it. And you can see those three little slots. That is right in front of where your electrical connector will be. Now you need to get the alternator positioned in such a way that it's going to look like this, and you'll be shining your flashlight down, and you can take a big flathead screwdriver like I've got right here, and your electrical connector will be in such a way to where you can take the end of this flathead screwdriver like so. Should be able to see where I'm at here, and then you'll be able to just push down and push down and off, and then you'll be able to disconnect your electrical connector like that. So once you've got your electrical connections undone and your mounting bolts off, we should, in theory here, be ready to go ahead and remove your alternator. So now I have finally got the alternator out, and I'm going to describe to you two stages of how I did this. And also I'd like to add, you do not have to remove the alternator bracket. I watched one video where this guy was saying, oh, you can do it without removing the alternator bracket, and then in the comments I saw the publisher of the video say, I actually did remove the alternator bracket, so maybe you do have to take that out. Well, I actually did it without removing the alternator bracket. Now that's the old one, and that's how you're going to want it to look when it's right up behind this mess right here. But before you get it to look like this, you're going to have it sitting at the bottom. Now imagine this is the black abyss right down here where you're not going to be able to see it. What you're going to do is you're going to take your left hand, you're going to reach down in there with your left hand, and you're going to position your old alternator to look like this, to where the sprocket or this little pulley is facing up, and with your left hand, when you're reaching down into the black abyss, you're going to grab onto this pulley. Now you're going to pull it up and you'll be able to wiggle it around, wiggle it in different positions, and you will be able to pull it back up. Also, the other thing I've done here is your throttle cable. You can see right here, it was bolted right there. I unbolted that. Then there's 2 more holes right over here. I unbolted those and got them out of the way. I zip tied this, your throttle cable here, to this little hose right here, so I got zip tied it out of my way. I also zip tied this hose right here back over here. You can see it's zip tied out of my way, so the alternator came up through this hole right here, and that's why it's beneficial to zip tie that hose to get them out of your way, and it's going to come up through that hole. So, like I was saying, you're gonna, with your left hand, reach down, grab on the pulley, and you're gonna come up through and work them all the way through there. Then you'll get them up here, and you can kind of set them on those coolant hoses right there, and you can set them down and take a break, because you're gonna want to break. It's quite the task. And then once you've got them set down there, you want to arrange your alternator in such a way that these 2 things are facing outward. And let's see, yeah, and then you're gonna want the pulley facing this way. So once you get it faced that way, then you're going to pull. This top part is going to be coming up through here first, and you'll just pull it out, and then it's going to get stuck. Now it's okay that it's stuck, just keep pulling and yanking, and you can even take your new alternator if you want to and try pushing it down in, because it's easier to push down in than it is to pull out. And when you do that, you'll see how you pushed it in, and you'll be able to pull it out the same way. So you're just gonna have to yank, and eventually it will pop out. So it's gonna pop out, it's not just gonna smoothly fit out, so just keep that in mind. Okay guys, now I'm gonna demonstrate putting in the new alternator and then pulling it back out as well. So hopefully it may make you a little bit more confident, give you a better idea of what actually is happening when you're pulling your old one out and putting your new one in. So we'll go ahead, I'm gonna work them in. And I may have said earlier the pulley is supposed to be on this side, the pulley is supposed to be on that side, and this guy is supposed to be facing up like this. So I'm gonna go ahead and stick them down in there. And there we go. So you can see how I popped down in there. Now, once he's in there, you can go down in there and you can get that all worked out. But now, I'm going to show you that once you get them positioned in this way and you're pulling them out, how to go ahead and pull them out. So you're going to get them up in here into position. You're going to pull up and position them like so. And then you're just going to work them right like that. So you can see how to put them in and out. So as far as everything else is concerned, everything is the same as the reverse of the install. So you're just gonna do the reversal of the install procedure, and yeah, there you go. And another thing you may want to see is this guy right here. When you go to put that belt back on, if any of them slipped off, you may want to see this to know how to put your belt back on, because if your car's like mine, then you won't have this nice little diagram here. So that's your 2 pulleys. That's your alternator pulley. That's that top pulley. That X is just where the tensioner pulley goes from here to there, and that's the pivot point of the pulley. So yeah, that's pretty much it. So that pretty much concludes today's project. I thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you next time. And guys, one more thing I wanted to add was, you can see right here on the firewall where I was scratching up against. I read in one place where a guy said you can beat that with a hammer, and if you can manage to beat it in such a way that it'll be more out of your way, it's going to be more helpful. And I can't see how that would hurt anything, so that'd be a safe thing to do and make it easier. I just wasn't able to swing in such a way to make it work for me. I kind of pushed it back a little bit, but then I was afraid of squeezing it in so much to where it would create a ridge going down, which would make it harder. So I just decided to try and pull it out like that. So maybe you could try beating it with a hammer, and that might help you out if you can get it in such a way to where it's in more and it'll give you more clearance.
Thanks for watching, guys, and don't forget to subscribe so you can catch all my new videos, which publish Mondays and Fridays at 9 a.m. Pacific Time, 10 a.m. Mountain Time, 11 a.m. Central Time, 12 p.m. Eastern Time, and I will see you then.